In the last video I talked about animations and transitions. In this video I'm going to talk about animations with keyframes. Animations with CSS3 allow the appearance and behaviour of an element to be altered in multiple keyframes. There are two parts to CSS animations. They are animation properties and keyframes. Let's do a simple example. I'm going to create a class square, and then go to styles.css .square and set the width to 100 pixels and the height to 100 pixels, and background color is blue, so that gives us a green square, and then color white, and position is absolute, so we can move it about. And then I'm going to set left position to 100 pixels. So let's move to the left 100 pixels, and then I'm going to set the keyframes. You do at keyframes keyword, and I give it a name, move right, and then you do from without the colon, and then left 100 pixels, and then do a to left 300 pixels. So should be right, that's it, right, and I need to do a hover to kick it off. So it's dot square colon hover. So it's animation. It's called move, give it the name, move right. (300 milliseconds). So when I hover over it now, it doesn't work quite right. It keeps re-triggering. What if I create a container for my square and trigger on that? So go back to index.html and then to dot container, create the container, put the square inside it, delete that, that's it. Now to trigger it, we do sort of square dot hover, do container hover, and I still want it to run on the square, so dot square, and also up here dot container. I'm going to make that height 150 pixels and width 150 pixels and background color is sky blue. So that's that. So now if I trigger on that, it works. But if I go on both, it still flickers. That's because both are triggering. What happens if I make the container a sibling of the square? So instead of it being like a container, delete that and place it here like so. So now the square is not in the container. So I need to go to the styles.css and put a plus here, so as you know it's a sibling. And then if I trigger on that, it works now. But you won't always be able to have it as a sibling. Sometimes you'll want a parent-child relationship, and later on I'll show you what we do about that. So although it's working now, after it runs, it jumps back to its original position. If I don't want it to do that, I have to alter the fill mode. I can do alter the fill mode by going forwards. Now, if I save that, it goes off and it stays there. It stays there until I move off the hover. The fill mode sets how CSS animation applies styles to its target before and after execution. To see the other fill modes, I'm going to change the code a bit. I'm going to put a delay of 1.5 seconds. I'm going to change the keyframe from, so it's minus 50 px. So that's minus 50 pixels. I'll make this none and 1.5 seconds. I'm going to put this in long form. So animation name is move right. Comment this out. Animation duration is 300 milliseconds. Animation fill mode is none, and animation delay is 1.5 seconds. So as with transitions, you have a short form where all the values go on one line, and you have a long form where each property and value is specifically named and separated by a dash. So this is a short form. You have the animation keyword, then you have move right, 300 milliseconds, none, and 1.5 seconds delay. Then you have the long form where you have animation name, move right, animation duration, 300 milliseconds, animation fill mode, none, and animation delay, 1.5 seconds. So they're all specifically named. So now there's a delay of 1.5 seconds, and then it moves to the left 50 pixels, and then gradually moves to the right. If I make the fill mode backwards, moves immediately to the left, and then after a 1.5 second delay it moves to the right. And then back to the original position. Now if I want the animation to go from -50 pixels and stay there for 1.5 seconds and then move to the right and stay there, I can do it by changing the fill mode to both. Try that. Goes to -50 pixels, stays there for 1.5 seconds and then moves to the right and stays there till I move off. Next I want to show you that you can use percentages instead of from and to in the keyframes. Also I'm going to slow the animation down to 3 seconds so you can see it more clearly, and I'm going to comment out the delay. And so this is going to be 0%, and I'm going to start it at 100 px. This I'll make 33% and I'll leave it at 300 pixels. This I'm going to make 66% and I'm going to make it left -100 pixels, and at 100% I'm going to make it left 100 pixels, and I'm going to make this 3 seconds duration. So now if I go over that, it goes forward, back and then to the center. I can also put other properties in the keyframe. So for instance, background, I can do background color, start off blue and then background color make it red, and keep it at red at 66%, and then at 100% make it blue again. So now goes to red and back to blue again. Do you remember I said there is a problem when I had container as the parent of the square, in that it would trigger repeatedly when you move the mouse over the container and the square at the same time? I'm going to show you how to get over that problem. I'll go back to index.html and put the div back here, like so. Get rid of this plus, so as it's a parent-child relationship. And now if I go over both, you see it triggers repeatedly. And I can get over that by going to the square and going pointer events none, and that stops the square seeing the actual trigger. So now it doesn't trigger repeatedly. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please subscribe for more.